When it comes to the travel schedule, how much has that picked up? Was there a time when you went, oh, oh crap, we're working every weekend, or we're working in UK, we're working in Canada, we're working in Mexico? Was there a time you can remember in the last year or two when you said, okay, we're here, we're working?
Yeah, I think I'd say 2 years ago. The past 2 years has been just insane, and everything has just picked up tremendously, and it's been awesome.
Pretty much as soon as we signed with Impact, our schedule has picked up substantially. We honestly, we don't even drive anymore, which is awesome, because we used to drive 12, 9 hours, 8 hours, 7 hours, 5 hours all the time to shows, and now it's maybe I think the only show we drive for is Beyond Wrestling, only because they're in Massachusetts, and it's about a 3-hour drive, but everywhere else we get flown out to, and it's awesome to finally get to that point where people fly us out and we don't have to. Well, I don't have to drive. He doesn't drive. He just sleeps. So
yeah, the paying your dues process, and it's over. I mean, I've seen you guys for a long, long time, and your in-ring ability is amazing. But you could see it for guys like you. Your talent got you over. Your connection with the people, and then it happens just like that. You get signed to Impact Wrestling, and I don't want to say you fell into it, but you were searched out by Conan to replace LAX. It pops. You guys, and then it's just you're off. And I'm telling you, you're going to turn around and you're going to be 48 years old and you're like, wow, what a hell of a ride. And that's what I love about it. Again, I know you guys both very, very personally. I know for you told me, Santana, that like you had a real job and then you're like, you know what? I'm investing in me. I'm quitting my real job, which I can't wait for you to tell everyone what you did, and to go out there and become a pro wrestler.
What's crazy is it's funny that you bring that story up, because on the way down here I take the 2 train down from the Bronx, and I took the exact same route that I would take every day to work, and I passed by the same work building that I worked at, and the whole I worked literally across the street at 11:55, and just this whole morning I was thinking to myself, it's crazy that just 3 years ago, I would take this trip every single day and be miserable and have to come sit in an office and all that stuff. And now I'm taking this trip to go sit in a studio with Tommy Dreamer and as the longest reigning tag team champions of Impact history. And like, it's pretty dope.
Can you just tell the people, and you don't have to tell where it was, but what you used to do?
I used to be a conference coordinator for a law firm.
Yeah, man. He's a real person. He'd have to sit around and be with like corporate people like, you can't, and we just want to beat the hell out of you and throw you through this window.
Right,
but we won't. We'll let that slide.
Conference coordinator, like what does that entail?
I would pretty much schedule and set up meetings for lawyers.
So you got to do all the fun conference calls and all that. Can you hear me? It's muted and all that crap.
It was terrible.
A lot better. And I watched your documentary on the Fight Network, and you talked about like where you guys came from and your story and how your upbringing kind of shaped as you are. Mm-hmm. Characters evolve over time. Do you still have like pieces of that in you? Do you feel like it's important to be kind of connected? That both of you can kind of answer this here. I'll start you, Santana, like where you came up from. You could tell people about that a little bit. They could see it in the doc, but how that shaped who you were and maybe who you are today.
It's crazy because I look back at the person I used to be, and I'm like, damn, I was really that person. Like, and I did a lot of bad things that I regret in my life, you know what I mean? But of course it got me to this point, and it made me a better person, and I learned from these things, and I got older and wiser and more mature and stuff. But
listen, that's called life.
Yeah.
When you have children, that changes your life.
Hell yeah.
There are certain moments where you're like, man, I can't believe you do that. But those are things, one, you do it, in your guy's case, survival.
Yeah, 100%.
You didn't grow up in the nicest of neighborhoods. You had to do stuff to help you survive every day. Hell, going to school every day is a fight.
Yep.
So, and then once it's called getting older and learning from your mistakes. Mm-hmm. And stuff like that, man, there's not one person out there who's not thinking. And the best is like, for me, I try to pass my knowledge to other guys, and then you guys do the same. Because I remember the first time I saw you at House of Glory, I was like, man, you guys are pretty good. Hey, do this. But it was like, whoa, these guys want it. But every mistake that you made, you learn from it and you move forward.
Yep.
And that is called life.
Let's talk about a match that you didn't have an impact. You had a match on a boat, a cruise ship, against the Young Bucks, and I guess people haven't seen this. If you were there, you saw it. I know
that match will never see the light of day.
That match will never see the light of day.
No.
That one won't, but maybe in the future. Here's what I want to ask you about. I heard through the grapevine they requested that match specifically against you guys.
Yep.
When you heard that, what did it mean to you? What are your thoughts on those guys? Because along with you guys, they're considered one of the best tag teams in the business. What was that match like? Because people didn't get to see it unless you were on the boat.
It was awesome. When we heard, I was on my way to the gym and I got a call from Conan, and this was maybe like 2 months before the cruise, and he was like, hey, there's this cruise coming up. Chris Jericho's putting this thing together, and the Young Bucks want to wrestle you guys. And I was like, what? We're just doing our thing, you know what I mean? Like, we don't ever think like all these guys know who we are. They, we were just like, oh yeah, that's awesome. And
they asked to wrestle us, which was awesome. We definitely, it was a huge compliment to us, because the fact that they could have chose anyone and they had the power to be like, no, we want to work these guys or these guys. And when we actually worked them, just instant chemistry off the back. I mean, they're really, really, really good at what they do, and just putting together the match and everything, it just we clicked. Everything clicked, and it was an awesome match. The fans enjoyed it. I'd never seen it, so I can't tell you exactly how it came out, but I mean, feeling it in the ring that day and the reaction that we got from everybody, especially afterwards, it was awesome. It was amazing. I'm sad. I want to see the match, but I don't know if the footage even exists.
Well, we all want to see it again, I think, at some point down the road. I'm sure. I know you guys would like to do it again with them.
Hell yeah, 100%. Those guys, I mean, the vibe instantly, like, as soon as all four of us were around each other, the vibe was just awesome. And those guys are super cool. And
super humble.
Yeah, super humble. And we just sat there and just, like, I think for the first, 5-10 minutes, we weren't even talking about wrestling, you know what I mean? And it was just a cool experience. So.
Are you following tag team wrestling elsewhere? I mean, Tommy said, unfortunately, WWE, it's not billed as a top thing, but you have guys like the Usos and Revival and New Day, and there's so many great tag. Are you guys still following that? Is there a tag team you guys like to watch?
100%. We like to stay up to date with everything and try to peep game on everything. And the guys over right now in WWE, like the Usos and New Day and Revival, of course, these dudes are shaping tag team wrestling in a whole different light, man. Like, those dudes have been doing awesome stuff.
When they do get the spotlight, they do get the opportunity, they kill it.
Do you guys take that as a tag team that does get featured, main eventing, impact shows? Do you almost take that as a responsibility of, well, it doesn't get featured on Raw and SmackDown every week, so it's our jobs to make tag team wrestling a big deal in wrestling in general, I guess you'd say?
100%. And also showing that there could be so many different styles of tag team wrestling, you know what I mean? Like you said, going back to what you said before, you've seen us in so many different types of matches, and we feel like that's always been a big thing for us coming up. Like, you want to be able to wrestle any style anywhere in the world. Like, that's what makes you a true great worker, you know what I mean?
Do you guys have a dream match?
It was Rock and Roll Express, but we did that.
You guys did that in WrestleMania weekend, correct?
Yeah, we did it for a Spring Break 3 Part 2, and we opened the show.
What was that like?
No, we didn't open.
What was that like? Like, working those guys?
Awesome. Amazing. The best. This is a story I've told before, but so we were going over the match with them, and we were just talking to them, and the major thing we wanted to do, like, Janela was like, yo, I talked to Ricky. They're super stoked. They want to go in. They really want to do some work. So we were a little nervous to meet them. We've never met them before. We go upstairs. We say hello to them. There was a little bit of a testing out process on their part. They never met us before. But as soon as they seen we were cool dudes, and you know what I mean, well, we hit it off instantly. And then we talked about, I don't know if you've seen the Canadian Destroyer spot.
Yeah.
So we go and we talk to Ricky about it. And he was just like, what's that? And then we show it to him because we did something similar with the Lucha Bros, and I show him the clip, and he goes, all right, let's do it. And I was like, oh, yeah. We look at each other and we're like, oh, man, this is going to be awesome. So then that's all we talk about. And then we were like, oh, what do you want to do in the beginning? And then Ricky just goes, lock up with me. Boom. He locks up with him. Boom. He goes, I'll wrestle y'all all night. Just listen to me.
And that was it.
And it was awesome. And that's exactly what we did. Ricky called the whole entire match in the ring to us.
I love how stuff goes full circle. From that actual clip, and then how you said somebody you looked up to. I had the Rock and Roll Express versus Daniels and Kazarian at my show this past Saturday.
Yeah.
That match happened because they saw the Canadian Destroyer, and Daniels and Kazarian hit me up, and they're like, hey, man, you have the Rock and Roll Express. That's our dream matchup. Can you make that happen? And I was like, absolutely. And the best thing, and I told Ricky and Robert, like, hey, guys, you drew another hell of a house because we packed it at the Nashville Fairgrounds this past weekend. But when you say, like, the ultimate compliment, another wrestler watched your stuff from social media, then was like, I want to work those guys. So it's like, and when I tell you, they followed me and Bram, and we fought all over the building. I took stupid bumps, I was in thumbtacks, all this crap. But it was a straight up old school Southern tag team main event, and the people were so into it. And when I tell you, Ricky was Ricky, selling, being Ricky, and then at the end, he blew to come back to Robert, and they won with a sunset flip.
Hell yeah.
And the place exploded like it was the Canadian Destroyer. And
amazing.
It was, but a testament to how you guys are. Other teams saw that and was like, we want to wrestle those guys. So
that's amazing.
Great stuff.
I do love the fact we could put this is wrestling in 2019. Rock and Roll Express had a match booked off of this Canadian Destroyer spot. Just to get that clear. That's awesome and tremendous. There's a great story you guys tell, and I don't want to totally spoil it, but you guys got something from the Rock and Roll Express after the match you had.
Oh yeah, man.
I want people to watch the doc to check that out because it shows the respect level that they gave you, and then obviously vice versa, you had for them. Mm-hmm. That's got to be just that feeling. Yeah. That's another milestone I'd have to think in your career, right?
100%.
We wrestled a piece of wrestling history. Like, they're living, walking, breathing history. And they're the epitome. They're tag team wrestling, and they're still going in their 60s, and that's amazing. And if you watch the documentary, you'll see what they gave us at the end of the match, and we hold it dear to us. Like, it really and truly, like, we told them, and we've put it on social media, and we told each other that we're not wrestling a match without what they gave us that day, and it was awesome.
When you talk about passion, Ricky and Robert came back, and I was like, guys, thank you, because I lost John Morris and Taya and Willie. They were in Mexico, couldn't get on they were stuck in Dallas due to weather. I went out there, told the fans that, offered refund. One person took a refund, everybody else stayed, and they had one hell of a main event. And Ricky came back. When you talk about passion, I hear him saying, he goes, brother, I'm sorry I gave you the worst Frankensteiner because I slipped. And that just shows passion. A 62-year-old man say, man, I'm sorry I messed up the Frankensteiner, but you took care of me. And I was just like, God, I love that.
It's awesome.
Because that's Ricky. And he was just like, thank you so much for having me. Oh, man, it was awesome. Love it.
With my full capabilities.
Welcome back to Busted Open. Matt Camp and Tommy Dreamer joined live in studio here in New York City by the Impact Tag Team Champion Santana, Ortiz, LAX. Catch them on the Impact TV tapings this Thursday, June 6th, and Friday, the 7th at the Melrose Ballroom in Queens, New York, and Slammiversary, July 7th in Dallas, Texas. ImpactWrestling.com for tickets and information. And by the way, I know people didn't get to see this, they'll see it maybe on YouTube. Tommy Dreamer was just dancing to that.
There's no camera of me, is there?
The one right next to you?
Hey.
Oh, there we go.
I dance all the time.
That might Chris, if we could get that as an outtake potentially.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much.
Shut up. I didn't know there was a camera there. I wouldn't have adjusted my manhood either.
You're always working. Come on.
Shut up.
Guys, I want to ask you this. Last year, I had the privilege to call your first match at the 2300 Arena, the ECW Arena. And I said this to my commentary partner, Danny Doring, while the match was going on live on commentary. I said, I don't know if I've ever heard a crowd react to a first-time appearance like I heard that crowd in that arena. I have been to shows there for my entire life. I have called many shows there. What did you feel like when you were in that ring? When you stepped in the building, what was explain everything about stepping into that building? So I'm sure it meant something to both of you.
100%. I mean, it's a historic arena, and we never wrestled there. And we've been, grinding it out, and we've wrestled almost everywhere. And for some reason, the arena always escaped us. And it just never happened for us. Even when we were working CZW, we've done a few stints with Chikara. We've done companies that have worked out of there, and it just never happened. And then finally that day when Tommy brought us in for House of Hardcore that day, we were ecstatic. We were like, finally, we're gonna work the arena. We were fanboying a little bit, like, we took a picture in front of the wall in the bathroom and stuff like that. And,
by the way, everybody does that, so it's not just you should.
100. It's a dope mural.
If you don't do it, you're slacking. I'm just saying.
But
if you only knew what went on in those bathrooms back in the day,
I could only imagine.
My DNA's all over that place, brother.
Now no one's going to go in there. You realize? Well, I shouldn't say that. People who are in that, if you're going to go into that building,
I was pooping. That's what I'm talking about.
It's mixed in the paint that's on the mural.
my favorite part about the new ECW arena, 2300 arena. Back in the day, seriously, we used to, especially in my matches, we used to always go in and have our matches in the restroom. I would always take my matches in. The first time we did, we went to the men's room, and then I was like, you know what? Let's try into the women's room. I went into the women's room, and people would be screaming, and then all these guys bum rush the women's bathroom. Today, this stuff could never go down. And I remember I whipped Brian Lee into a stall. He hit the stall, the door opened, and there was a lady literally sitting there going to the bathroom. Now think of that experience if you're a fan.
ECW.
And she didn't even scream. She just sat there and I was like, I'll close that for you. And then we just continued the brawl.
House of Hardcore at the arena this weekend, by the way.
That won't happen this weekend. Well, because it's a different time, a different era.
You guys worked the Spirit Squad that night, but did you feel it? Did you say oh, we have something here?
We were nervous as hell because you always hear the horror stories of the Philly fans are some of the most brutally honest, fans in pro wrestling.
Historically, yeah.
And so we were like, yo, we're gonna come out to either crickets or they're just gonna give us hell, And so that's what we were expecting.
I mean, I would have rather get booed than get crickets. That's the worst. Some reaction is better. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, when we got the reaction we did, it was awesome.
Yeah, we weren't expecting that, to be honest. We had a really good reaction, and they were excited to see us there, and it kind of it added to the match. And Spirit Squad, they're great, man. They're awesome. We've worked them before, and we did a tour with them also in Germany, and they're just cool dudes, man. They're great dudes, and they're fun to work with, and they know what they're doing, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they just listening to them. Every time we've done a match with them, we just listen to them, and we're just like, yeah, let's do it. Let's rock and roll.
Quick question: every tag team has had this happen. Have you ever guys gotten into a fist fight?
Close, but no.
Okay.
Very close. In New Orleans, there was a lot of alcohol involved, but we didn't.
That's why New Orleans is the devil. We would never.
I can picture you two going at it.
Bro,
very
we
close.
would never go
very
there.
Close.
To the point where airport cops or whatever came to us, and we're going at it, and we're yelling at each other at the top of our lungs, and we're going at it. Cops come. Nah, there's nothing to see here. He walks away, and we keep going.
So it happened in the airport?
Yeah. We're in the airport. We missed our flight.
But was it wrestling? It wasn't about wrestling.
No.
It was about
No. Yeah, it wasn't even about wrestling. It was. We just missed our flight. We were really drunk.
Really get heat at home.
Yeah.
It was totally Santana's fault, by the way. I just know it.
He's trying to stir up problems again. You see that?
It was my fault.
There you go.
All right, there you go.
I'll take responsibility
the blame.
for that one. For that one.
Yeah.
For that one, I'll take it.
That's number one. Number two, there is Bubba of the team. There's Booker T of the team. They're kind of the team leaders. Do you have a team leader?
In what sense?
Business.
This could be the next fight right here.
No,
business-wise.
Business is all Santana.
Man,
Santana,
no.
He's good at getting our point across. He's not afraid to be stiff, for lack of a better term, when he needs to be, and be blunt. In the ring, I take a lot of the brunt of the responsibility. He does a lot too, but I like to put together matches and stuff like that. The in-ring stuff, it's both of us, but I will take charge and try to put together the matches and structure the matches. But as far as business and everything else outside of the ring, that would be all him.
Dude, I deal with the Rock and Roll Express. Great friends of both of them. Robert is the business.
Yeah.
Ricky's the laid back guy, blah, blah, blah. Then if you think of the match, like it's the heat on Ricky, hot tag to Robert. It was always heat on Devon. You know, I should say whoever's losing, it would be Devon. And so
I take the heat. He does the comeback.
I can't also wait for everyone to watch your movie here on the Fight Network.
Yeah.
It is phenomenal. Great documentary. You could also see the worst hair choice by you ever, Ortiz.
You don't like it? You don't like the flat iron?
Like Ethan Page said, the Puerto Rican macho man over there.
Holy cow.
That's not a bad thing to be. By the way, we just tweeted out the link, and it's up there at Fight Net, and we retweeted it there too.
While he was getting his hair done, I was like, he looks like every girl I went to school with in Harlem that had tracks
and you're talking to someone
hair.
who's follically impaired myself, but I was like, I don't know if I'd wear that hairstyle. I would just mat it all to my head.
You were a little jealous of that hair.
I would pay big money for it. Sometimes when he brushes hair, I go to pick the out of his comb and I put it on to cover my bald spot.
That's the second hair conversation we've had in the studio today. That's all I can say about that. We haven't talked about the Lucha Bros.
Yeah.
14 tag team matches against those guys, I believe.
14 matches.
Give or take 14.
Yeah.
And what's your record against them?
I think it's been pretty back and forth.
Yeah, it's
really?
It's been
everywhere. It's been Impact. It's been Beyond. It's been Bar Wrestling. It's been PWG.
AEW,
House of Glory. Are you wrestling them this Saturday?
Yeah, at House of Glory. We wrestled them in England.
That's
for Fight Club in England. We had a really good one with them in England. Just that Manchester crowd, man. English fans. They're very much like football or just soccer hooligans. They get really into it. It's a different atmosphere to wrestle.
It almost feels like I know Punk and Cabana used to kind of take that match around. I feel like that's kind of what's happening with you guys.
100%. We took it to every major independent company. And
for the most part,
is this it this weekend? Do you think this is it for a while? No. So you think there's a lot left in the tank?
Yeah. I honestly, it's just we have really good chemistry with them. We have really good matches with them. We can go. We definitely
we all complement each other in every way possible.
What has changed from the first time you wrestled those guys to Full Metal Mayhem to now?
There's more trust, of course, but the chemistry's always existed. The first time we ever wrestled them was for Beyond Wrestling at Americarana 17, I think it was. I may be wrong with the year, but we had instant chemistry with them. Definitely, it was the first time we wrestled them, so the hits were a little harder and more snug. But we'll even bring it now, and there's no love loss. We just go at it each other and we leave it out there in the ring, because we're all kind of under that. We like to say that lucha family. Like Conan has a very extensive lucha family, and we just fall in with them. And then ever since they realized we were down with Conan, he gave us the stamp of approval. They're Conan's boys too, and we got together. We had that chemistry, and now we're boys, man. We trust them with our lives, and we can't get any better with them.
And what's awesome is that we're always constantly trying to up the last match.
Yeah, which is not easy. I'm sure with you guys.
I've seen a lot of them. You guys change up all your stuff.
We try.
That's what you're supposed to.
Yeah,
do.
exactly.
You know what works, but that's also, again, like I said, Christian and I used to wrestle each other all the time. We would change it every single night
and that
to
was
see what works to when you're going to do it on a bigger scale.
Yep.
100%.
And that was the main thing, especially watching back in the day and watching, the Dudleys and the Hardys and Edge and Christian and all these guys. They did something different every match. Not any of their matches were the same. Even the TLC matches. How crazy can you get with these matches? And they raised the bar every single time.
And it's not easy, as you know. Once you have that great match with somebody, it's really hard to try to up that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
And maybe the chapter's closed with them in Impact now. I mean, maybe that's fair to say.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think it'll ever the book maybe not be closed ever with those guys, which is a good thing. Who's next? Who do you want? The North has come in. We know about them, but who do you want to face? Let's say in Impact or maybe elsewhere right now.
The Briscoe brothers.
Definitely want to wrestle the Briscoe brothers again. Honestly, they're the number one tag team in my eyes. Everyone says the best tag team in the world. I think the Briscoes are the best tag team in the world, honestly, currently, because as long as they've been doing it, as good as they can still go, and the crazy stuff that they've done, and they're still moving and still rocking and rolling.
I don't think there's a tag team around today from their era that still like banging hard.
Right.
Yeah, like
the
them.
way they are.
I wrestle both of them. They're great. I think they don't get brought up in that conversation enough. It's because they've been in the same place for the same time.
Yeah.
And, I don't want to say people would say but you take for granted them for so long.
Yes.
And they're like, I loved working with them. Me and Bubba's stuff, and even the stuff I brought with them in House of Hardcore, I was just like, I love these guys. And I've seen them before you guys were even around. I saw them, from debuts. So great guys.
Yep.
You did lose to them in Germany. I had to double check that.
Yeah,
we need to see.
did.
So you wrestled the Bucks only once and the Briscoes only once, which is so great that you guys have so much more to go with there. That you're just scratching the surface with two of the best tag teams ever.